Everything okay here? Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Feels like it takes like 3 hours just to get live. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Get Reelisms podcast. I am Adam Chase Rennie.
And I am Christine Chen.
Episode 58, ladies and gentlemen, 58 weeks.
That's a
58
lot.
weeks. It is.
That's
It is a lot. And that's not even considering the 10 episodes we did for the May You Rest in Peace Fun Employment podcast.
Oh yes, this is true. This is
So we have to
Get
add
Reelisms
10
stuff.
more just in terms of our resume, Christine.
Yeah.
Podcasting
Crazy.
resume.
Interesting.
All right, dude. How's everything with you?
It's
I'm
good.
sorry.
Well,
I'm very exhausted.
I'm exhausted too. Fudge just
Yeah.
said, I'm hanging there. How are you? Miss you too, Fudge. I'm
Yes.
good. I'm about to start another film set pretty soon. I actually fly out tomorrow to Virginia for
That's
the
right.
next one. Yes, I'm going coast to coast this year. It's kind of fun.
You're the traveling Christine this year.
I know, super traveling. Yeah, coast to
traveling.
coast. Yeah, going to Virginia and going to live on yet another camp.
Wait, really? Like a studio situation?
Another. Man, me and Carly are like the camp film.
I was gonna say, you guys are
connoisseurs.
gonna be the outdoors people, the not so outdoors people.
Yeah, film camp connoisseurs. That's who we are. I don't want to completely be pigeonholed into only doing camp films, but yeah, that's our next. Our next
Listen,
one is
you're gonna do what you're gonna do, Christine.
yet another film camp.
Well, how is so you haven't been there yet?
No, I have
so
not
you've
been
seen
there.
pictures.
No, I have not seen pictures. I've seen
you're going
a
in blind.
Google. I've seen a Google map,
Okay.
like a Google. What are they? Google World Map or whatever. Those
Google
are.
Maps. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like little drawings of like, this is this location and this location. I'm like, all right, yeah. So this
you don't know.
Small ass set. It's like 20 some people for a feature.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I
For a
know.
feature?
For a feature, yeah. I'm going back to my fun employment days. This is what's happening.
But you have experience, though. That's the thing.
Exactly. Yes.
You have experience in guerrilla filmmaking, if you will, impromptu filmmaking.
Impromptu filmmaking. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm definitely like, wow, 20.
And you said
people
Carly's
there.
gonna be there.
Yeah, Carly will be there. Nikki will be there too. Yeah.
Nikki, is she's
Mhm.
going to Virginia?
Yeah, because she's actually from Virginia, apparently. So she's going to.
Did she tell me that? I think she told me that. She's gonna be so mad if I don't remember.
She says that this is the best time of year to go to Virginia. So I'm trusting her and I'm very excited. I told both Carly and Nikki that no matter what, the one thing that I have to do on our day off is one of the days I have to go to Maryland and participate in the crab season.
Oh shit. You and shellfish, dude.
Yeah. Me
Wow.
and shellfish. I love shellfish. Yeah.
What you people don't understand is that I've seen Christine slam an entire bag of crawdads or crawfish. I never seen a human being just slam a bag of crawfish like that, like Christine. It is truly one of, like, my sister was that person. I don't mean to out her, but and there's like maybe I think another friend of mine who can slam food like that. But like when it comes to shellfish, Christine cleans up, ladies and gentlemen. She cleans up.
Yes.
She doesn't leave no prisoners. Yeah. There's no such thing as doggy bags when it comes to shellfish with Christine.
Yes. So I'm very excited. So I'm like, I have my former roommate, just
endless crab.
Former roommate and friend from undergrad. She was from Maryland. She would always talk about crab season in Maryland. And so since we're so close, I'm like, we have to go. So
yeah.
So that is on my list.
It's only appropriate
going there to have lots and lots of crabs.
I'm sure there's like plenty of places you can go to, but who cares about that when you have all the food places, all the crab places? Come on.
I know.
Give me a break.
I literally plan all of my trips around food. I think you've noticed this.
No, because we share the same thing. I do the same exact thing. Like there's only food places that I'm going to tackle to. Also, like even though I worked on a food documentary, there were plenty of places that I went to in San Antonio that were absolutely amazing. I was like, I didn't know San Antonio has good restaurants like this, and apparently they do. And San Antonio is just an hour and some change away from me, and I had no clue. I thought Austin's where it's at. No, ladies and gentlemen, everywhere in Texas.
Everywhere
apparently.
you can find food anywhere. Yeah,
you can.
Food. Yes, and you just have to look. Yeah, we that's been the fun part about traveling so much is
you can connect all the restaurants and like do
all
like
a
a food tour, if you will.
Exactly.
You know? Yeah.
So like while I'm driving, I'm like, Carly, go look up what's the best place to eat in Albuquerque, you know?
Right. Because how much time can you really spend in a museum before you're just sick of it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I love art. We work in art.
Yes.
But it gets to the point where I don't want to see the monuments. I want to eat the food. That's all I'm worried about. Just food.
Yeah.
So how long is the shoot again? You said
I'll be there for 15 days.
Right.
It's a 15-day shoot, 15, but 5 days on, 2 days off. Like I was.
Wow, that's then a pretty hefty schedule for a feature then. Jesus.
I mean, we did ours in 11 days.
Did we?
Yeah. Erzulie was done in 11. I
thought that
died.
was like 20 days for some reason.
I would have loved to have done. Well, it felt like 20 days because we stuffed 20 days worth of shit into 11 days. Yeah, that's what happened. But it was definitely 11 days.
I don't know why I felt like I lived in the swamp for like almost a month. That's crazy.
Okay, well, to be fair, like we were there for a week of prep. So it was technically.
Oh, right. Yeah. Okay.
So if it was kind of 15 days, but like we really shot for 11 of it. And
for
then,
11. Right.
And then some of it was just us just prepping and stuff like that.
Plus the prep days. Right. Yeah. I man. When did we shoot Erzulie again? 3 years ago? Crazy.
It sure feels
I already can't remember how long we fucking shot for. And it's only been a couple of months. I'm just like, what the fuck is wrong with you, Adam?
Yeah.
You're that out of it.
It's nuts. I mean, we finished because I remember prep schedule was during my birthday, which is April 28th. And then we shot the following week. And then we finished, we were out of there on May 17th. So, and now we are almost done with all of post-production. Almost all done.
So,
Yeah.
How much, I mean, can you say how much left there is to be done?
Yeah. So right now it's mainly just post sound. It's just been mixing and stuff like that. So like color is done. My colorist is like, please be done. Like, because like I will be done, but then I'll have like 3 clips of VFX come in and I'll be like, sorry, can you add these 3 VFX clips and color those? And it's been annoying because of how dark the film is shot in. Generally you can put like what you call a canned like LUT. A LUT is kind of like a filter type thing over the thing to see the color, how it look like color, right? And there's built-in like standard ones you can put over your footage, and it kind of colors it and looks kind of ish close to what will happen when a colorist does it. Mm-hmm. The problem is the standard LUT, when placed over the footage that we had for Erzulie, was you couldn't see anything because it was shot at night in the dark, and you really need to very much process that footage in order to be able to watch it. And so I was running into the problem where I literally couldn't tell, because it's been interesting learning like what you need to do on the raw footage with VFX versus what you do after you've colored the footage and then do VFX on that footage. There's like and it's not the same all the time. It varies for each VFX that you do. And I didn't realize the extent of how much VFX is in this film. And it's not like VFX, like crazy stuff. It's simple things like, you know, when we did the stunt with James, somebody being pulled, you know, there's the wire, and you have to like paint out the wire. That's VFX, you know?
Yeah.
And just so it's not like crazy stuff. It's or like enhancing.
It's small, things that you wouldn't really see.
Yeah, you wouldn't really notice. It's not like, oh, they're riding a motorcycle through the downtown Chicago and like, you know, and the whole thing is green screen and we're creating an entirely different universe. I use that as an example because I literally saw that on Instagram today for the Matrix. So yeah. So not that. It's tiny things, and there's a lot of it, and it all adds up. So but it's been a lot of like, I have to color it sometimes before I realize, oh, this VFX is not correct, or we need to improve this VFX, or like this doesn't look right, versus, and so it's driving my colorist up the wall because I'll be like, all right, we're done with coloring. Oh wait, we have to redo these 5 VFX clips. And she's like, I thought you said it was done. I'm like, well, yes.
Once more with feeling.
It's like, yeah, exactly. It is technically done. It's the same clip. We just have to redo the clip.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. We're just doing
like,
it.
She's just like, F you.
Yeah.
I don't blame her. It's a lot of time because it's like all her projects are overlapping now, which is how filmmaking works, I think. It's like you want to perfectly space out your projects, but like with everybody's timelines, it ends up all magically creating the perfect storm and overlapping at the same time. And then you have like 5 due dates all on the same day somehow. And like, then you're just really annoyed. And so these like extra clips that you have to go do is a time suck for maybe your 5 other deadlines that you have. So I totally get it. And I feel really bad, but I'm like, that's just how it goes. I'm like, I'm technically not giving you clips. Just need to redo these clips again. But yeah, so that's where we are right now. I think I have all the clips. I don't think we're changing anything. I think now it's the back and forth process of the sound mix, sound design, and it's so essential. There are very key moments within the film that are going to be so much better with the sound design, because suspense and any kind of horror element, I think a lot of it is sound design.
It's very much sound design.
Yeah. So yeah, there's key moments where it's like, please, Jeff, like make this scary or make it more suspenseful and stuff like that. So that's the part where we were at. I'm supposed to get a new mix today. I'm waiting on that, and I'm going to drop that in with my nicely exported full version colored Erzulie with VFX. Nice. And then I'm going to submit it to South by Southwest. So
and Sundance, right?
I already submitted to Sundance.
Oh, yeah. You did that.
Yes. Yeah. So I did that. The nice thing is, having talked to other filmmakers, is that they don't, I mean, you try to get it as close to final as possible, but they're not going to, what they're looking for is like, okay, do I see potential in this film? And do I see that it programs well with the rest of my stuff, and quality wise, can I tell that it's going to be of good quality? But it doesn't need to be like 100%. I mean, it would give you a leg up, of course, if the more complete you can turn in your film, for sure. But
it's not the final cut.
Yeah, I mean, the edit isn't going to. Okay, I'm gonna knock on every wooden surface.
Me too.
The edit shouldn't change any more that drastic, type thing, unless like some festival comes in with an exceptionally great note that could like make it go into a festival versus not, type thing. So I can't, I mean, I watch it so like at least once every day. I'm so tired.
Yeah, it's crazy. I've been reading my script every morning.
Yeah.
Twice.
Yeah. And
because
it's so
I tell
long.
myself that's the other thing too. I made it too long. It's too
How many
long.
pages do you have right now?
Almost 200, 189.
Holy shit. No, you gotta cut pages.
I know, dude. I know, but listen, the stream of consciousness just doesn't stop. It's just every time I read it, I'm like, yeah, that's important, I guess. And then I read, I'm like, no, that's not. So like, I'm in the process of just like chopping down anything that it just has nothing to do with the story. I threw in lots of, because I love the characters so much in this ensemble, especially. They all have such crazy, stupid personalities. I love it. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to have them a moment with like them with expressing, right? Yeah, exactly. With each other and like have like conflicting characters, like in the same, I wanted to do that. It was kind of like playing with like, Legos and stuff like that. It was fun. But then I got to the point where I'm like, is this necessary to the grand scheme of the story?
Right.
Doesn't make sense to the hero's journey, which is my two main characters. Like, does it have any relevance to this? And if I answer those questions, no, then it has to be cut. You have
to cut it. I literally read a meme. It wasn't a meme. I think it was like an Instagram post with the words of like a quote from some writer, but it is basically well, I can't put the words to it, but it was something in the lines of like, good storytelling or good screenwriting is literally two characters and like 4 pivotal moments, and everything else is just stuff that add to those 4 pivotal moments, basically.
Oh, that's 100% right. Yeah.
And that's it. Yeah.
I wish I would have known that though before I wrote 189 pages.
Well, sometimes you have to like get to that point, right? To like figure out which parts are important. And I can tell you nothing will make you cut your script better than knowing, like, pretending, maybe mentally thinking like, all right, how do I make this film?
Yeah. And that's the other part of it too. It's just like, okay, so doofus, you want to direct this too, right? How the fuck do you think you can do any of that with half of the stuff that you already have? A lot of it is ambitious, and there's a part of me that thinks I know I can do this.
Yeah.
But there's also another part of me that is just like, you're not gonna write a Star Wars length fucking movie and expect to make this like that's just nuts. And so when I put myself into that reality, into that moment, I'm like, okay, you know what? Yeah, I think it's time, because it's not like I thought I was more sensitive about the script than I really was. So when I started reading back the script, and that goes back to what we were talking about earlier, when you say you watch your movie at least once a day, reading the script once a day and sometimes twice a day in my case, sometimes it really reinforces what's important, the core story that I wanted from day one of writing this. It was like, this has to be the main focus with these characters, and they have to go here and here, and they have to end here. That's what I already had in my head. And so reading this script just sort of reinforces that. And that's why I know, I'm like, okay, I'm on the right track. But holy shit, the amount of fat that I have on the script is ludicrous.
That's quite a lot.
But I'm saving some of these scenes though. That's the thing. I'm not really just eliminating them and throwing them in the recycle bin. I actually am saving them just because these scenes are kind of funny and they work. It's just not for this script. You know what I mean? Like, no, I guess not for this time.
Yeah. You should save stuff all the time. And then what I find that it's the same thing in the editing process. It's like, people will say, oh, like, you don't need the scene, or like, hey, you should just cut from here to here. And like, I'll cut it out and put it somewhere. And then like, you'll watch it and be like, there will come a point where you're like, you know what? Like, I'm going to put back a few of these things, So it's a balance. It's the same thing in the editing room. You get it really, really tight. And then you go in and then you find spots that you are like, hey, I want to add that back because I'm missing that. It's sometimes you have to see what you're missing before you realize why that particular piece is important.
Yeah, exactly. And why it does play in the grand scheme of the story.
Or why it's not important. I've definitely cut things out and been like, I don't even remember I had that part at all.
That's the other. Yeah, I guess that's the other side of that coin. But I want to ask you, have you ever gotten to the point where, I don't know if you have, I don't think you have, but do you worry that you feel as a filmmaker that you might like get to the point where you're repeating yourself, like you only like the one thing and you just want to do that one thing over and over and over again? Do you ever have that worry? Or
what do you mean by that?
I'm saying like there's a way, not that there's like a cut and line, like a cut and dry way of like filmmaking, not like an A to B format. I'm saying like, do you feel like in the way of the process and the way in how you lay out the story and how you structure said story, do you have a worry in your head that you might be repeating yourself? Like you feel like
I see what you're saying.
You've told a variation of this story before, in some way, shape, or form,
it again and again.
And you're just doing that, which is sort of like, I guess the best example of that is Michael Bay. I guess
I have the opposite problem. I have the opposite problem. So
you just do over ambitious shit that you had no experience over.
Yeah, well, see, I have the opposite problem. I have the like, I'm always jumping genres and jumping different kinds of stories.
That's why I said I don't know if this question applies to you, but I'm curious what you think.
I definitely have the opposite problem because there's always the thought of like, hey, you should specialize and you should be known for a certain kind of film too, right? So if you are jumping around to all sorts of stuff, then like nobody knows what to expect, or I don't know, like it becomes like it's a whole idea of like lack of branding, lack of a style or something like that. So I think I have the opposite problem. I have where I'm just interested in all sorts of stuff, so I'm like jumping around all the time. Sometimes I'm doing drama, sometimes I'm doing comedy, sometimes I'm doing both, sometimes I'm doing fantasy, sometimes I'm doing like so I don't believe that I've gone into that realm per se, but I have noticed trends, or not if not me, people have noticed like, hey, your kind of film is you like to do things where insert the
you can put a definition.
Yeah. And that's cool. Like I feel like it's more so talking to other people about your film, about what your style is, that you kind of are able to step outside of yourself and realize, oh, I do tend to do something like this or whatnot. And I don't think that's a bad thing necessarily. I think as long as you continue to explore different human issues or whatever that's important to you, telling the same or similar stories in different ways, I don't think is necessarily a bad thing. So no, I personally haven't ran into it, only because I'm like all over the place. But I always tell too many different types of stories.
And I think that's kind of the point. Like in storytelling, is that you don't want the same exact something that's so predictable that you already have it by definition of who you are as a filmmaker. You know what I mean? Like you kind of, I don't know, because like there's filmmakers who still surprise me and stuff like that. But there are filmmakers who are very cookie cutter about the way they make their films. And like, there's a point A and point B and a point C with all their films, almost like an algorithm
template. Well, I want to know who fits in that bill for you.
Of the cookie cutters and stuff. Bay. Here's the thing with Michael Bay. Michael Bay, back in the like Independence Day of filmmaking and stuff like that, he was actually making some good, he could have been like a good groundbreaking like filmmaker in a way of like that could have been like like he could have spun into drama. He could have gone into horror or fantasy even. And I know he has in some degree with, the Transformers movies.
Right.
But with the Transformers movies, there's repetition that ultimately works.
Right. There's
so
a formula.
I always get shy when I put somebody into in a box like that, because it's not the fact that like I'm judging them for how they are as a filmmaker. I'm not. That's how they are as a filmmaker. And I hate to say it, I even put Martin Scorsese in that as well. Okay. I'm not saying, and he's made different kinds of movies for sure, but I know what I'm getting into when I walk into a Martin Scorsese film. I guess like with the exception of Shutter Island, maybe, or Hugo. Those movies were just like, what, but they were just more confusing, if anything.
But wouldn't you argue that that's a brand though? Like,
absolutely.
Would you just say Steven Spielberg is the same way? Like,
no, because he still creates an innovative. It's hard to explain, but basically like the best example I can that's recent is Ready Player One. Like when he made Ready Player One, like it is 100% CGI, 100% all that. And to most filmmakers, they spit in that. They just like, no, that's garbage. It's not filmmaking, basically. But what Steven Spielberg did, it felt like a gamer like me made that movie. That respected the story of Ready Player One, which is a really good book, but he took it in a completely different direction than I could have ever really predicted, because he understood what the story represented, what the whole story arc is all about. He at the end of the day is all about story. However, how he's different is each film, the payoff is never what you quite expect. And that's kind of, I guess that is a box that you can put Spielberg in, is because like sometimes the payoff isn't what you necessarily think it's going to be. Like have you seen Ready Player One?
Yeah, it's great.
Like towards, like, especially in the end of the film, like it leaves off for a sequel, right? Like it leaves off, he, by any stretch of the imagination, I don't think has made a film quite like that before. And he constantly ousts himself each film he does, to me, with Spielberg, sort of in the way of like, I mean, like you, for an example, like you kind of put yourself on a higher challenge level, if you will, to make something that is ultimately pretty dope ass art. And that's what I feel like Spielberg does with every single one of his projects. Maybe there's some projects that are less fortunate than others, 100%. There, without a doubt, I agree. But when there's an interesting story and there's a way in how he's going to tell that story, and it's interesting enough that's different, Spielberg, it's going to be a Spielberg thing 100%. That's why I can't put him in a box, because he does all sorts of genres, you know? So it's not like I can really put a hard definition on, well, this is Spielberg and this is how he is, you know? Whereas
but he definitely has very specific themes he explores in his film.
Exactly. And people like Kubrick and Nolan, they both make movie. Well, okay. Those are a little bit different, but bear with me. They're both smart movies, very smart. Like they're both very smart filmmakers, and they make very smart movies. Sometimes even with Kubrick, still to this day, I'm baffled by, but I think it's just because I'm a natural idiot. So with Nolan, kind of the same thing. However, it's more, I guess, commercially viable, but that's sort of degrading his work, and I'm not trying to do that. It's more palatable, I guess, than I guess a Kubrick film, because you can understand it, I guess, with the exception of fucking Tenet. Tenet was just crazy in of itself. I love the movie.
Yeah.
And I actually do love the movie. It's just
it's too smart.
It's too smart. And that's the thing. It's just like, I'm an idiot. I'm a dumb. Like I can't. That's why I love video games, because there's directions and shit like that. It's just like, yeah, this is from point A to point B, and then this is the killer, and this is who you have to save. It's like, oh, story. I love it. But yeah, I don't know. So that's how I feel with Scorsese. Scorsese is very much that, like, oh, I know exactly what I'm going to get myself into with the Scorsese film, because in some way, Wolf of Wall Street was almost like a mob movie, even though it's not. It feels like a mob movie.
I love
it. Feels like I did too, but it felt like a mob movie that has no violence whatsoever. And there is some little bit of violence, but like for Scorsese's, in comparison to Goodfellas and stuff like that, it's different, but it's still very much in the same through line of someone wants power, and then that power comes ultimately crashing down in front of them. That's the kind of stories he loves,
but I can argue that Steven Spielberg likes stories about kids with broken families, or like people with coming from broken families, and how that broken family affects the life of that. ET's like that.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. He's more of a relatable filmmaker, I guess in terms of like grounded for family. He's definitely a family filmmaker, 100%. And I believe that. It's just, but there's plenty of stories that I've seen from Spielberg that are just like mind blowing to me. Like there's some movies
he still surprises you. Okay, that's fair.
But you're right though. Like there's just some that are more family friendly, and then there's the opposite with Tarantino and Scorsese and all those filmmakers that just that rely on the violence, which I guess in fairness, I don't think they ultimately rely on violence. However, it's a very good powerhouse through the script. It's a neat motif, if you will. And I shouldn't be talking shit because my script is also violent. So
I want to see.
It's but I'm saying that like these filmmakers, they all have like neat and interesting films that really, I wouldn't say contradict their previous work, but they have projects that have stuck out from the rest and stuff like that, which I do appreciate. But there's still like, you still know like what you're going to get yourself into when you buy a Tarantino ticket, or a Scorsese ticket, or not saying that they're not a good time. They're always a good time. I love those kind of movies. But ultimately you kind of know what you're getting yourself into. For the most part, I guess. There's of course some exceptions and stuff like that.
What about Scorsese's that Japanese film? What was it called?
Silence, you mean?
Silence. That's very different from what
that was different, and I forgot about that one.
It was extremely different. It was a really good film.
It was
extremely underrated. I definitely deserved. I think it was a cinematography Oscar. And
that was it?
He got nominated for other stuff, but I don't think it won that much that year.
Gotcha.
I might have gotten, I don't know if the actors got one Best Actor or not, but they were definitely nominated. Yeah, no, that's pretty different, I think, from a typical Scorsese film.
Yeah, no, like I said, there's definitely those one-offs for sure, but
I get what you're saying. Yeah. But see, like,
because, and this is where my argument falls flat too, right? Because I I'm under the impression that like, you know, I think I know what I'm getting myself into with a lot of filmmakers, but you just name plenty of movies that I'm just like, oh yeah, those I forgot about that.
Yeah, I'm like, wait
Shit.
a minute.
I'm like, I didn't know about that. So I guess I just naturally put some of these people in a box without really thinking about like, so that's on me.
No, it's easy
you know,
and that's, I think that's the part though that I wrestle with, because it's almost like that's the way we as humans process information and stuff. And so being able to put somebody in a box sometimes can actually be beneficial, because it's like, that's why we have brands, right? And that's why we prefer certain brands to another brand, because we like the consistency and we know what to expect. People like, to a certain extent, even though they want to be surprised and stuff, they still want an element of consistency, you know? So
yeah.
does that make sense?
To a point of thoughtlessness in a way.
Right. Yeah. And so that's why
I understand
why Christmas Hallmark films are always going to be a thing. That's because why
it's advertised for people like my mom all the time.
Or there's why franchises work. It's because there comes a point where there's times when you just want to be mindless, and or you want to know what to expect and you don't want to use your brain and you just want to mindlessly watch something. So like, I don't know, it's interesting.
Yeah, nothing that's thought-provoking or something that you have to read in between the lines for. Nothing David Lynchian where they have to like really really be quick on their fucking feet in order to really understand what's going on. So there's some people who just rather not deal with that shit,
right,
like, at all. Yeah, and I respect those movies too. I honestly do, even though it seems like the opposite of what I would like. It is, but there's still, making a movie is hard, and Christine knows this more than anybody. So I just have a natural appreciation for movies, even if they are set up to be something cheesy and stupid. You know, you still have to appreciate the craft of it, the behind the scenes of it all. You know, it's different than what serves what the story is as the final product, you know. But yeah, dude, I think those movies, I think you have a point. Those movies have some sort of like, I don't know, like, yeah, like the consistency is what the people really want at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You know, and they strive for that no matter what, which is not a terrible thing, but it does rob a good story that could have been told. You know what I mean? Like there's always opportunities for improvement, but like, you know, whatever. I'm going off in tangents here, but nevertheless, I am on board for cheesy Hallmark movies, ladies and gentlemen. Adam, I give it Adam 2 thumbs up.
In conclusion,
I actually love Hallmark movies.
There's nothing wrong with them.
I love them.
I do too. I when I'm sad and lonely, I love watching Hallmark Christmas films.
I mean, well, they're coming to Netflix too. There's a lot of movies that are kind of like the, you know, like the cheesy, you know, mindless type of films, like on Netflix too now, right? Or am I wrong? I feel like there are.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah, dude. So you're in post-production still for Erzulie, even though you're submitting the movie.
I'm very close, festival. And I just got a text from Jeff from our mixer that he was like, "I'm printing the mix."
Oh, right now?
Yeah, right now. So I'm excited. So he's sending me the mix, and then I'll put it in and wait 3 hours for it to export. So yes,
gotcha.
It is almost ready to for the submission to self buy. So
well, yes, I mean, we are at 50 minutes. I don't know if I mean, was there anything off the top of your head you wanted to talk about?
Oh no, I was gonna see what set are you gonna be on next?
Oh, I don't have anything right now. I don't have anything right now. I mean, it's just copywriting job.
Yeah.
So it's been mostly that, but your boy's going to be getting a car soon.
Yay! What kind? I mean, it doesn't
I'm
matter.
looking at
just as long as it drives.
As long as it drives, but I'm looking for quality.
Okay.
I'm looking for quality, Christine.
Okay,
I don't want to buy something that is just going to be expensive in the long run.
Right.
A lemon that it's just gonna be a money pit in a way, a lemon money pit, if you will, where I'm just gonna be constantly trying to fix this car for it to only fix for like about a week, and then I'm back to spending another $1,000 on a brand new fucking transmission. I don't know cars, but
right.
I'm just spending money constantly, and I don't want to deal with that. I've dealt with cars like that back in California, and they were an absolute nightmare. So I want to really invest in a good car, and I'm dreading going to these dealerships. Boy howdy, I do not like going to the dealerships, and I don't think I am anymore, because these people are out of their minds. I don't know, ladies and gentlemen. There's plenty of places you can find cars online. This now turned into a car buying podcast, ladies and gentlemen. No, I'm just saying there's plenty of places online that you can just buy cars literally online, and they just deliver it to you. And most of them like deliver for free. Yeah. You can just buy cars. Like they'll have like paperwork already right there for you. And then they'll check your credit score. They'll check what kind of loan you can get. And then also, how much down payment you're going to put down. And they go through all that, and you don't have to talk to anybody.
I didn't know that.
They might send you emails with questions and stuff, but like my sister, my best friend, her sister, she just bought a car just like that. And I'm like, how's the process like? And she kind of walked me through it. And yeah, it's dumbass simple.
Are you using like Carvana or something?
It could be that, or it could be like there's Carvana. There's also TrueCar. You can buy cars through TrueCar as well, like online.
I know that.
Yeah. So there's just plenty of places online that you can just buy cars, and sometimes they'll just deliver for free. Or if not, like the delivery fee is like ridiculously small, like less than $50,
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. It's the future of car buying, and I'm excited for it, but I'll give you updates on that, on the car experience.
Well, I'll be really excited, because then you will actually be able to like hang out and have no excuse to hang out and stuff.
I'll have no excuse to not hang out. And also I will be able to be reliable again. I won't have to ask Kelly for a fucking ride, because I already know, I know that I'm just bothering her at this. And also Robert Bernsey, who I worked with on this last set, and we've worked with on my very first set, Robert Burns Jr.
Yes, good old Burns.
Good old Bernsey Burns. He's sick of driving my happy ass everywhere. So, I gotta stop. I gotta.
Does he still drive that car that was hit by a deer?
No, he got a new car, which is funny, because like when he picked me up, I was expecting that car. I was expecting like half his bumper to be falling off his car and shit like that. And he's like, nah, dude, I got rid of that a long time ago. So yeah, he got a new car, but it looks like his old car, just black. That's the thing.
Like
he's like
cube, basically. Is it still a cube?
It's not it's an SUV. It's like a RAV4, but it's not a RAV4. It's something else. I forgot what it was, but it's all black. And he acts like this is a head to toe brand new, like completely different. He never drove this kind of car before. And I'm like, you've definitely drove this kind of car before. So Kelly says that's not true. You're always welcome to bother me. Thank you, Kelly. I appreciate that. But it's more of a personal thing. I feel terrible whenever I have to ask people for rides. It's a natural guilty thing, because when I was younger, every time I asked somebody for a ride, all of my friends gave me shit about it. They're just like, can your poor ass buy a Honda already, please? Like, now you have a job and you still are not going to pay. It's like, yeah, man, because all my money is going to food and video games. What else do you want from me? Let's see. There's really nothing else. Christine's new set in Virginia.
Yeah, I'm going to Virginia. I'll have stories.
What are you doing after that again?
Oh, I'll be in Austin. So
you'll be back here.
Yeah, cool. Late October, I will be doing another feature for 30 days in Austin. So that will be the longest project I've ever AD'd on. So nice. There will be that. Yeah, prior to that is just now getting everything ready to go for, it's just nonstop, man. Erzulie, it's like now I got to think about editing a trailer. And then like all the
I love trailers. You're not excited for that?
I'm tired.
Adam, I'm exhausted. Shut up with your dumb trailers.
No, I am excited, but I'm like really tired.
Yeah, no, I know. I hear you.
I think these past few days with my parents, I actually had time to like sit and think, and then like then become overwhelmed basically because I'm like, oh shit, all these things I have been putting off that I haven't done at all, like accounting systems and reconciling things, and I'm just like, oh my god, yeah.
Man, you should take a day off.
Yeah, I know. Oh, I got my parents to play Catan. So that was very successful. So
Settlers of Catan. Oh wow!
Yes. So
how fun!
Yes, very, very nice. We're now bonding through Catan, which is good.
That is great. It's a long game though. It's been a really long time since I played that.
You haven't played Catan in a while?
Like, oh my god, this was like back when I played D&D and those games, like back in middle school and high school. I stopped like sophomore year because then at some point like my friends were like, oh, this is getting kind of stupid, we should probably like do something else. And
Camille plays D&D.
Oh yeah, no, I'm all for it. I still love D&D. I know Camille, we talked about this.
I've never played D&D.
What? It's fun. Really? You never? Oh my god.
D&D.
You would love that game. You would love D&D.
Really?
Okay. It's a storyteller's game. It's like a filmmaker's ass filmmaking storytelling game. It's great. I guess you're gonna have
to pull out your D&D so I can figure out, so I can at least say.
Oh, it's easy. It's just role playing. It's just you're an imaginary creature in an imaginary world and stuff, and then you're all in a alternate universe. It's magical. It could be whatever you want. You could do, and then you just roll a dice on whatever you want to do. It's like, hey, I want to shoot bow and arrow. That's 7 mile distance. And then you have to roll a dice. And if you get like, I think like what, like 5 or less, it's a no-go. It's bad. Or like
what you're talking about.
10 or more, because there's 20-sided die. Shut up, Christine. You're gonna beat me up after this podcast for being a nerd. I see how it is. You were a jock.
I'm a nerd. I get it.
No, I know you're a nerd. You would love that game though. You would absolutely love that game. I think you would love video games a little bit more because there's an A to B with video games. There's like, but also like, you probably have an addictive personality, so maybe video games isn't probably a good thing for you.
Yeah, I definitely have an addictive personality. So negatory on things that will cause me to spend more time doing stuff I should spend other time doing other things. So,
but you should definitely take some time away. But you already are playing Catan with your folks, so that's a good
time away. Yes.
It's a good time away. It's just something that isn't just work. And when I mean work, I mean film. That's just constant in your world, which is constant in all of our worlds. Everybody, including Kelly's, everybody. We're all thinking about film, but there's got to be times where it's just like, you know what? I kind of want to bake a pie or something. I don't know. I kind of want to play Settlers of Catan with my mom and dad. You know, I don't know.
Totally.
I'm kind of running out of gas, Christine. I'm really exhausted.
I'm exhausted too. Let's bring it to a crash landing. Don't worry, I'm tired as F. So.
But I really have no excuse. It's just me literally writing. I'm not going to get into it, but it's mindless writing, and I shouldn't be this tired, but I'm exhausted. So, ladies and gentlemen, I think that's it for the Get Reelisms podcast. Ladies and gentlemen,
ladies and gentlemen, we're tired.
We're exhausted. Okay. But we've done almost an hour. Yeah, almost an hour. So listen, what do you want? Sometimes you're gonna get an hour and a half.
Sometimes you're just gonna get an hour. Sometimes you're
just gonna get an hour. And I loved how the last episode too, we were talking. I'm like, we're firing off on all cylinders, and we're ready to go. And now this episode is more the chill episode. We're
we did it.
So, you think you're gonna put filmmakers in a box, Adam? Is that what I hear? You just hate filmmakers. You just hate movies. This is what I'm hearing. That's the comment section happening right now.
Oh, really?
No. I'm kidding. I just, that's how insecure and narcissistic I am. I get too worried that people are hating me.
Nobody hates you.
Listen, there's people who hate me. I know you might be surprised by that, but there are plenty.
I'm very surprised. That's weird.
There's plenty of people that do not like me, but that's neither here nor there. Thank you guys for joining the podcast when we're just wrapping this podcast up. I appreciate you guys on Instagram. Thank you so much for watching. We appreciate you, Facebook. Thank you, Facebook, for...
We'll be announcing another time that won't be Sunday soon, since I'm on a set in Virginia, and I will only be off on Monday and Tuesday. So it'll probably be on Monday or Tuesday when our next podcast will be instead of on Sunday, just temporarily.
And then we'll be back. But it's just one more day, you guys. And also, you can catch these podcasts too on ErzuliFilm.com on all the previous episodes of the podcast as well. So if you did miss this, it's not the end of the world. If you catch the tail end of this, ladies and gentlemen, this is the relaxed episode. Last week's episode was the excitable episode. This week's episode's the let's all take a chill pill here. So thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. ErzuliFilm.com, GetRealisms.com to pick up the book today. If you haven't gotten the book, what is wrong with you? What are we doing here? Yeah. Anything else, Christine, before we say bye?
That's it. Make movies.
Bye.